Alright, let's dive into some of the biggest sports media stories making waves right now, because there's a lot to unpack here. And honestly, what makes this really interesting is how these moves aren't just about broadcasting rights or schedules, they're about the future of sports consumption, fan engagement, and the power dynamics in the industry. Let's start with Disney+, because their latest play with college football is a masterclass in strategic expansion. So, Disney Plus is adding more college football simulcasts this season, and personally, I think this is a brilliant move. What many people don't realize is that Disney isn't just trying to boost viewership, they're building an ecosystem. Josh D'Amaro, Disney's CEO, hit the nail on the head when he called live sports a fan engagement and ecosystem play. It's not just about the games, it's about locking fans into the Disney universe. By offering college football without requiring an ESPN subscription, they're essentially saying, hey, you don't need cable to be part of this. And that's huge. If you take a step back and think about it, this is Disney Plus positioning itself as a one-stop shop for entertainment, sports, and everything in between. It's a long-term play to increase the lifetime value of their subscribers, and I think it's going to pay off big time. Now, let's talk about LIV Golf, because their situation is fascinating, and a bit messy. LIV Golf has secured new funding to keep the league going, which is a huge sigh of relief for fans and players alike. But here's the thing, the lead investor is still unknown, and the players are set to become majority equity holders. From my perspective, this is both innovative and risky. On one hand, giving players more control over the league could be a game changer for athlete empowerment. On the other hand, it raises a deeper question, can a league truly thrive without a traditional ownership structure? What this really suggests is that LIV Golf is betting on a new model for sports leagues, one that's more player-centric. But will it work? Personally, I'm skeptical. The sports world is built on established power structures, and disrupting that isn't easy. Still, it's a bold move, and I'm here for the drama. Switching gears to ESPN, their reshuffling of college football broadcasting teams is more than just a roster change, it's a statement. Mike Monaco, Jordan Rogers, and Dana Boyle on Friday nights. Matt Berry and Chase Daniel on Thursdays. These aren't just random assignments, they're strategic placements to keep viewers engaged. What makes this really interesting is how ESPN is balancing familiarity with fresh faces. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, and Holly Rowe are staying put, which is great for continuity, but they're also bringing in new voices like Steve Shaw for rules analysis. In my opinion, this is ESPN doubling down on their strength, storytelling. They're not just broadcasting games, they're creating narratives that keep fans coming back. And in a world where streaming is king, that's crucial. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because these stories are all connected by a bigger trend, the battle for sports rights and viewer attention. Disney Plus is expanding its sports offerings, LIV Golf is fighting for survival, and ESPN is fine-tuning its lineup. What this really suggests is that the sports media landscape is more competitive than ever. Streaming platforms, traditional networks, and even leagues themselves are all vying for dominance. And the real winners? Fans, who now have more options than ever. But here's the thing, with so many choices, loyalty is harder to come by. If you take a step back and think about it, the real challenge for these companies isn't just acquiring rights, it's creating experiences that keep fans hooked. Finally, let's touch on a few other headlines that caught my eye. FIFA's drama with Gianni Infantino is a reminder of how fragile the balance of power in global sports can be. Dick Vitale's health update is a heartwarming moment in an otherwise chaotic industry, it's a reminder of what really matters. And the USC-Notre Dame rivalry resuming in 2030? That's a win for tradition in an era where everything feels up for grabs. One thing that immediately stands out is how these stories all highlight the tension between innovation and tradition in sports. Whether it's Disney Plus' streaming strategy or LIV Golf's player-centric model, everyone is trying to find the right balance. So, what's the big takeaway here? Personally, I think it's this: the sports media industry is in the middle of a seismic shift. The old rules are being rewritten, and the companies that survive will be the ones that adapt. Whether you're a fan, a player, or an executive, this is a fascinating time to be involved in sports. And as someone who's been watching this space for years, I can tell you, we're just getting started. What do you think? Are these moves going to pay off, or are we headed for a major shakeup? Let me know in the comments below.